it's a weird day. I know everyone's just sort of in a state of shock. Thought the NBA handled it well. Was there any serious consideration given to actually canceling the games yesterday? Did it all happen too late, or what was sort of the thinking there?
I didn't check with anybody at the league office about how close they came to canceling games, but just from talking to people during the day yesterday, I mean, whether it was Toronto or Atlanta or some of these other teams, I mean, you never got the sense that that was really on the table, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this news came out, I think, 45 minutes before the first game of the day. I just don't think it was at that point. You can't really put the toothpaste back in the tube at that point and start like sending people home from arenas. I just think it would have been too complicated to figure out. So, it obviously was a tough day for a lot of the players and coaches, people who knew Kobe really well. Obviously was the idol of probably 80% of the league at this point, which is why it's such a raw moment for a lot of the players. But
right.
I think as far as the way the league handled it with the moments of silence they did, I thought what the teams did with the 24-second and 8-second violations was cool. I mean,
that was brilliant. Do you know who came up with that idea? Really brilliant.
I think I don't know specifically. I mean, I know the Raptors and Spurs did it in that game, so I don't know if it was Pop and Nick Nurse who kind of talked about it or whatever. But from there, everybody kind of did it after that, which was pretty cool. But and look, Kobe Bryant. The thing about Kobe was he was a guy who loved basketball more than anybody and wanted to play more than anybody. So
no doubt,
I think you saw a lot of guys go out and play hard yesterday, even if they weren't necessarily in it mentally. And a lot of guys played really well. So I think that was about as good a tribute to him as they could have had.
Right. What was sort of your personal reaction when you heard the news? Did you think it was real? How did you hear? And then what was your role as soon as you heard?
I was actually I'm in Miami for a couple of games today and tomorrow. He played the Magic tonight and the Celtics tomorrow, and it was surreal for me because I was in Philly on Saturday night for LeBron passing Kobe
right
on the all-time scoring list, and obviously his name was on everybody's mouth on Saturday, and LeBron had that amazing 5-minute soliloquy about him, which is weirdly kind of like a eulogy now when you go back and watch it. If people haven't watched it, they should go find the tape of it. He talked for an extended period of time about all these connections that he and Kobe had basically from like 1996 on when he came in the league. So I was in an Uber on my way to my hotel, and I was just bored looking through Twitter, kind of waiting to get to my hotel, and I saw the TMZ story, and I had to go like off Twitter to TMZ to try to make sure that it wasn't like some kind of hoax thing, and then just started calling people to try to find out if it was real. I mean, 'cause it was one of those things where you see it and you kind of do it. I mean, like everybody else, just did a quadruple take and was
right.
like, is this actually a real thing? It's just such a completely out of the blue shocker, especially because he's been at these games. His daughter,
right.
Has been at these games with him. I mean, it's, like I said, he just was on everybody's minds the night before. It just is it's so wild that things played out this way.
Yeah, he's been so present, whether it's just there on the sidelines as a fan.
Yep.
What was your interaction with him like when you covered him?
I didn't have a ton of them from a personal perspective. I mean, I was going back through and reading some stories last night. I wrote a story at the Post in 2018 about detail, and I was laughing because I had asked him about it's like the first 10 people who had who'd been covered in detail had a god-awful game the next game, like all of them. And I asked Kobe about it, and he went on this rant about how the show wasn't for simple-minded people, which I thoroughly enjoyed. But my stuff with him was all from far away. Like, I'll never forget. I was in Indianapolis for the night before a Nets-Pacers game when I covered the Nets. when I was sitting at the Champion Sports Bar at the downtown Marriott watching the Warriors-Lakers game when Kobe blew out his Achilles and walked out and shot the free throws. I'll never forget where I was for that. I went back and forth when I was at the Post for 3 weeks about whether I should go to the final game of his career or I should go to the 73rd win for the Warriors potentially. And I wound up choosing the Warriors game. And then literally everybody at Oracle that night was just watching the second half of the Laker game when he scored 60.
Right.
And I was so angry that I didn't go to that game. So I didn't have like personal interactions with him really like that, but it just, that whole final season, the 2016 season, just seeing him go around the league and be honored the way he was, it was remarkable, and it remains remarkable how many players just think he is God today. Mm-hmm. Like that's the thing that I don't think that fans I know get it to a degree, but like I'm not exaggerating that between 80 and 90% of the league, like Kobe Bryant is their ultimate hero in basketball.
Right.
And like the reverence that people in the league have for him, among like I'm 35, like my generation and down.
Yeah,
like
he's your Jordan.
Like yeah, for guys, like I watched a lot of Michael, but like anybody younger than me, like they don't really remember Michael's career. And like it was like Kobe Bryant was their guy. And especially because the league is full of all these guys from L.A. And all these guys from L.A., like, they just worship the ground Kobe walks on, whether it's DeMar or James Harden or Russell Westbrook or Kawhi Leonard. I mean, all these guys are enormous Kobe fans. They all ironically had to play yesterday. And it just I don't think you can overstate the impact that he had on the lives and careers of so many of these guys in the league who, we're all just completely blown away yesterday.
Joined by Tim Bontemps, NBA writer for ESPN. The scene tomorrow night is going to be unbelievable in LA. Clippers taking on the Lakers.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, Kawhi Leonard was a guy who was very close to Kobe. We saw LeBron's reaction when he deplaned. They heard the news, obviously, when they were coming back from Philadelphia. Yeah. Just as a comparison, you can get into the Nuggets-Grizzlies game aftermarket for $4. The lowest price for the Clippers-Lakers game is $880.
Wow. I did not. I mean, I knew it would be expensive anyway, but yeah I mean, that's going to be, I mean, LA is just going to be a zoo all week. I mean, I can't even, I imagine they're going to have some kind of memorial service at Staples Center later this week, I would guess. They could probably have the damn thing at the Coliseum and sell it out. Like and probably have 1 million people outside the place. Like I mean, as you guys know, like his fans are legion, certainly among regular people too. And I mean, LA this week is just going to be a crazy scene because it's just really, this really hit a lot of people hard, and it's going to be like the celebration of his life out there is going to be like few things ever. I mean, I was trying to think of stuff to compare it to. I mean, the only things that I can really think of that are similar, maybe you guys will have better answers, are like Princess Diana dying, like JFK Jr. dying. Yeah. Like not like this is not like, like for like my family's from New York, so like Thurman Munson passing away in a plane crash was a big deal, but Thurman Munson is not Kobe. I mean, this is a worldwide story. Yeah. It's just really, there's no question. It's just crazy the number of people that he touched.
Yeah, and the way that he went, I wonder if it will affect the way some of these guys travel. Think about how many of these guys they probably all fly private all the time. And then, especially the superstars, and think about how many of them fly in helicopters. I wonder if it will change.
I'm supposed to take a trip in a month and a half on a private plane, and I'm not sure I'm going to do it. And I never was going to take a helicopter anywhere, and anyway, but I sure as hell am not getting on one. I mean, you hear about crashes with these things too often for my liking. So, yeah, I mean, look, a lot of these guys, like you said, all these guys fly private all the time. A lot of them either have helicopters or have, used them.
Access to them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would be thinking twice, man. If it was me, I sure would be.
Right. What's going to be the number one thing that like his biggest legacy? Do you think it is?
I think it's just the impact he's had on so many guys in the league, in this generation of players. I mean, like I said, you ask 80, 90% of these guys, he was their guy. You know,
Yeah.
DeMar DeRozan's entire game is modeled off of him. And, you know, Jason Tatum just like worshipped the ground he walked on and does a lot of the stuff that Kobe did. And I think just imparting that level of competitive determination and will and spirit onto so many guys. I mean, you know, just having that impact on. So I mean, you saw it in guys like Trae Young. I mean, Trae Young was born, I think, well after Kobe's career even started, right? And you know, Trae Young yesterday is losing his mind about it, and you know, wore number 8 in the game, and like it's just I think that has to be his legacy. And you know, it's so funny that a guy who really went out of his way to hate everyone when he played was starting to come out of his shell in terms of talking to guys, and he would, you know, take guys' calls like a young guy like Trae Young or Jason Tatum, and he would talk to them. And, you know, it was so funny to see like kind of the shift he had post-playing career. Even that final season when he knew he was shot and was kind of going around just giving it his best to play every night. I think that, you know, there was a lot more to run on that going forward. Obviously, that won't happen now. But I think that just that connection he had with so many of these guys has to be the thing that will, you know, make his legacy endure the most.
All right, Tim. Well, we appreciate you joining us.
Appreciate the perspective. Thank you, buddy. Really appreciate it.
Anytime, guys. Good to catch up with you.
All right, yeah,
good to talk.
absolutely. It's
Tim joined us on the Mattress Warehouse Hotline. Of course, an NBA writer for ESPN now.
It's a great point about how all of those players, you can imagine, all grew up idolizing.
Yeah, they worship Kobe.
That, you know, demographic.
Because like the next generation, there'll be LeBron.
Yeah, I would think.
Steph Curry.
I would think.
I would actually think Curry's probably influenced. He'll be one of those guys that's influenced a ton.
I mean,
just
if you
because
saw
of the amount of
if you saw
three-pointers.
Bradley Beal and heard his post game, he was a guy that clearly idolized Kobe Bryant.